It's Saturday, May 20th, 2023. I'm TC Kirkham, and this is the Kirkham Report. Hey all, TC Kirkham, the Kirkham Report here, back for another week of goofiness on my show. Took most of the week off because I was burnt out from Eurovision coverage last week. But we're going to get back into things this week, and we're going to kick it off with this week's cover story.
Jose Menendez and his wife Kitty. They were shot 8 times at close range.
The infamous Menendez brothers.
The brutal murder of their own parents.
These Puerto Rican children are Latin America's stardom.
I thought that there was some sort of connection. Jose Menendez was obsessed with the band Menudo.
It's time for the world to know the truth.
Over the past several months, there have been 2 huge documentaries about the 1980s centric, but still active, Puerto Rican rock group Menudo. The first one I talked about a few weeks ago, Menudo Forever Young, airs on HBO Max. The more recent one, however, is a more in-depth look at one particular member and what happened to him and his connection to an infamous crime in California. Menendez plus Menudo, Boys Betrayed, focuses on Jose Menendez, the then president of RCA Records and the father of Lyle and Eric Menendez, who were convicted of murdering their parents in the 1990s. Menudo member Roy Rosello has come out and said he was molested by the Menendez boys' father, as well as regularly raped and molested by Menudo founder Edgardo Diaz. This new documentary delves deep into Roy's long personal commitment to find personal justice for the injustices he was at the end of during his days in Menudo from 1983 to 1986. Roy was featured prominently on most of the American releases. He was Miguel Cancel's replacement, I believe, and featured prominently on their debut English language album, Reaching Out, and was also a part of the rest of them. Roy's story is horrific, and if you go through and listen to it, it will blow your mind. Now, the question is, how many members of Menudo or people associated with them will come forward to back up his story? Well, quite a few people in the earlier documentary, including Ralphie Rodriguez and a couple of others, did mention that they were more than aware that Roy was Eduardo's favorite when they were in the band, and they didn't get into the details because Roy was, assumably because Roy was cooperating with a different team for this documentary. Roy's story is something that will bring you and chill you to the bone. And now his testimony has been used to file formal charges against Edgardo Diaz, the founder of Menudo, and it is hoped that his testimony about what happened between himself, Edgardo, and Jose Menendez will help provide an excuse for a new trial for the Menendez brothers, whose sexual abuse allegations were allowed in the first trial but not in the second. It's an interesting conundrum going on for them, but it's an equally interesting quest for Roy himself. Roy, who has in more recent years has found peace with it, but is trying to find a way to bring Edgardo Diaz to justice, has enlisted some names he's familiar with, including Roy Reyes, the younger brother of the late Ray Reyes, who was in the band at the same time he was, and Roy was also purported to become a member. He also spoke with one of the 1990s members of Menudo, Ash, I've forgotten his last name, I'm sorry. And he also spoke with several adults who had worked with them, including one of their guitarists, and the gentleman who first leveled the allegations at Diaz back in the early 1990s, who was the owner of Menendez, the store in New York that carried exclusive Menudo merchandise. Now, my question for Menudo and general is this: if indeed Roy's accusations are accurate, and let me stress up front, I 100% believe everything he said in this documentary, why aren't more of the high-profile members of Menudo coming out to support him? He does have the support, basic support from some people, but Roy really needs the help of a high-profile member to really get these charges looked into. No criminal charges have been yet brought forth for Edgardo Diaz. If he's guilty of even a tenth or even 1/100th of what Roy has accused him of, the man deserves to be spending the rest of his life in prison. So I'm asking you, Ricky Martin, and you, Robbie Rosa, the two most high-profile members of Menudo, why you are not stepping up and backing this young man who was in the band at the same time both of you were, and has not had the life that both of you have had as successful performers, both in the English and Spanish language communities. Quite a few members of Menudo have said that Roy was Eduardo's favorite during the day. And everything that went on behind the scenes is not known to the fandom, because the fans saw the veneer of what Menudo was supposed to be. A group of ever-changing young boys that were supposed to stay forever young and always in the teen idol market. While backstage, many of these young men, not just Roy but quite a few others, including Angelo Garcia, who also spoke openly about it on the other documentary, were abused verbally and physically and possibly sexually by this man and several of his contacts, including then RCA president Jose Menendez. There needs to be a way to bring this out into the open and bring closure for these boys who have been waiting 30 years to see such closure. It's high time it finally happened. So I'm going to say this right now. It's time for Ricky Martin and Robbie Rosa to step forward and cooperate with the investigation with what they know about any allegations toward Diaz, Menendez, or anyone else back in the heydays of the Menudo era. It's vastly important that this be done, or justice will never be served. And that's this week's cover story. As I was prepping the show this morning, this month's Black Box showed up. Haven't even had time to score it, so it's going to take me a minute as we talk. We'll see what they did. Last couple of months have been awesome from them. We're getting some really good stuff. I recently switched over to the quarterly because it's a little cheaper. So they just took it out, so I have 3 months on this one. Oh, that one opened rather well. Let's see what we got this month. I don't know anything about it. It was completely closed. Let's see what we got. Oh, that'll be the second one of these from this gentleman. Pull this out first. It feels like a double set too. It's huge. Is this let's see, is this new? Yes, this is new. 2021. Jackson Browne, Downhill from Everywhere. I don't know any of his new music. Still Looking for Someone, My Cleveland Heart, Minutes to Downtown, A Human Touch, Love is Love, Downhill from Everywhere, The Dreamer, Until Justice is Real, A Little Too Soon to Say, and A Song for Barcelona. He also produced it. It is obviously a gatefold, as you can see. Hopefully there'll be a download code. It'll make it easier to listen to. Jackson Browne, Downhill from Everywhere. I like him, so that'll be interesting. And the other one, I am not familiar with this gentleman, so we'll find somebody new. Brian Dunn, Loser on the Ropes. This is from Kill Rock Stars, who is Elliott Smith's label, so I imagine this gentleman will be interesting. On his Kill Rock Stars debut, Brian Dunn's Loser on the Ropes emerges as something resilient and exhilarating, as a celebration of the down and out of the punk drunk. I never could say that phrase. Punch drunk fighter in each of us who heads back into the ring with a bloody nose and a crooked smile, hungry for another round. It is a first pressing on colored vinyl. Let's see if I can see the release date. Can't really read it, but it's got the lyrics on the back. Elliott Smith, I'm a big fan of, and these guys know that because it's in my Discog, so that's probably why they picked this out. Looks interesting. I'm not familiar with him at all. I'll have to let you know next month when we'll check it out. Brian Dunn and Loser on the Ropes. Let's see what stickers were included this month. Is that it? Just the one? Usually there's 2 or 3. I might find some. I might find some later. Quote from, I believe that's Woody Guthrie that wrote that. This land is your land, this land is my land, on this sticker. Pretty cool. I don't see any other stickers, so I think that's it for this month's Black Bucks. Not familiar with either one of these albums, so this is going to be a definite fun thing to discover this week when I have the time. So that is this month's Black Box Music Club. Okay, guys, it's time for another Unsolved Mystery. Now, I'm going to have a full video of its own up this week. I didn't have time to do it this week because work was crazy. But I will have it up this coming week. I will have the songs and stuff up. This was sent to me by my pal Dawn over at Two Hip Chicks in my last shipment. She let me know it was coming. She said, I couldn't find any information about it. Let's see what you do. I've looked around. I found a few little facts about it, but we're going to try and ask the vinyl community, and particularly those of you who may be centered in New York that might know a little bit about this. This is a record released. It's brand new. There's no question it's never been played before. On Patio Records. Now, the only Patio Records I could find listings for is one based out of Waltham, Mass., but it's not that label. So I'm convinced it's not the same label. He's the one, backed with Rave On, by a group called Johnny Mitchell and the Mad Dogs. I'm going to take this out of the sleeve so you can see the label more clearly. This is what the label looks like. I'll get it up here right where you can see it. The thing that has me intrigued and the thing that makes me think it's New York is recorded at the Coop. The Coop is a recording studio apparently somewhere in New York City. I think it's in Brooklyn or Queens. There's the flip side. The songwriters are listed. There is no listing for this song on Discogs or 45cat.com. I have not heard it yet. I am assuming it's rock from the titles and such. But I have not heard it yet, and I will record both of these and put them up in the next video later this week. In the meantime, for those of you who are in the New York area, See, I at first thought recorded at the Coop meant we have a store, a rather large store called the Harvard Cooperative. Their main office is known as the Coop, and it is at it's Harvard Square. It was at one time a general type store for students. The more recent incarnation over the last decades is an affiliation with Barnes & Noble. It's a giant bookstore now. The second building still has the clothes, the textbooks, and all that stuff, but they're not in the big building. They're right there, right outside the Harvard Square T on the Red Line. But I don't think that's the Coop. I think it's the recording studio in New York City. So, he's the one, backed with Ray Vaughn. The band is Johnny Mitchell and the Mad Dogs. Anyone who has information on this, please email me or leave a comment in the comment section with any information you have that I might be able to track this down and find out when it came out, what it was for. If it was, if it was a local release. It sounds like Patio Records, like I said, the only one I could find that sounded even remotely close is a label that's in Waltham, Mass. But they specialize in live recordings at venues where they have performers performing for the elderly, for the hospitalized, and so on and so forth. That does not sound like this. So if you know what it is, or you have an idea of what it might be, and you can freeze frame to get the writers on the producers and such, let me know. Email me at the address in the show notes, or leave a comment below, and we will track down this. We still haven't tracked down Chain Drive Billfold either, and I'm going to bring that up again in a week or two. We'll go over that again. But right now, Unsolved Mysteries, help us solve the mystery of He's the One, Johnny Mitchell and the Mad Dogs. As this show is being loaded, Dawn from Two Hip Chicks and I have a brand new Finding Your Music Mojo coming up this Monday, the 22nd at 6 p.m. Eastern on the live stream. We're going to be talking, as I said last week, about mood music. Not mood music as in instrumental, beautiful music, but we want to know what songs you listen to when you're doing a particular activity or in a particular mood. What songs do you listen to when you're happy? What songs do you listen to when you're down and you need a lift? What songs do you listen to when you're driving out on the road? What songs do you take the kids to school to? What songs are good lounging songs in the backyard? Come up with a list and join us Monday at 6 live Eastern. It's 3 p.m. Pacific for Finding Your Music Mojo. It will be available both right here on TKR Video Central and on Two Hip Chicks. Plus, you can also catch it on my PNR Network's YouTube channel and our Twitch channel. Be there, please. I want to tell you a little bit about some of the stuff I got going on, because the summer is going to bring some interesting new stuff. In addition to finally getting Label Nova off the ground in early June, I do have another show I'm working on that will focus on performers we've lost too young. Not sure of the title or anything yet, and I was hoping to premiere it in April, but things have been so nuts around here. First with craziness, and then the building, and then Eurovision. It's just been nuts. So hopefully that'll get off the ground before the end of the summer. I also plan to make a few announcements over the next few weeks about some other exciting stuff I'm working on. At least they're exciting to me. They may not be exciting to you. I don't know, because one thing I was watching, I was watching a question thing the other day. One thing that I'm going to be putting up a couple of answers to questions videos this week, and you'll be able to check those out. But one of the things I thought it was interesting is one of the questions, I think it was on Calico Silver's list, was, are you comfortable with where you are in the vinyl community? Do you like being kind of unique? As far as I can tell, I'm the only guy out here that does what I do the way I do it. I know some people don't like the TV, production aspect, but I try to do it a little bit of. I do it the way I'm used to. I used to be a DJ. I worked for DiscJockey.com for 2.5 years. I was a program director and a DJ, so I wanted to be. I'm used to that. I want to give that on-the-air quality to everybody, and it doesn't mean I'm not 100% a part of the vinyl community or the music community in general here on YouTube, because I am. And I enjoy that. I enjoy being the pop guy. Where else can you hear about Eurovision? Who else brings you the latest news about Hanson? Nobody. That's my gig. I enjoy that. And I hope you enjoy watching it. And I really, I have some other stuff, anyway, coming up this summer that I'm very excited about getting done. Not everything is new. Some of it is simply new looks for certain things, websites and shows, but some of them are also brand new, and I'll be announcing those. I do have my mini-series. I'm hoping to have it ready for July 4th, but it may be Labor Day. I'm not sure. And we have other things going on. And hopefully the wife will join me on a couple things in the near future as well, because we've been talking about getting our podcast back off the ground and also doing a wrestling show, which we would really love to do right now, especially with all the drama over this last week. If you're a wrestling fan and you are an AEW fan, you will know what I'm talking about. In any case, I just wanted to let you know that there's going to be some interesting stuff going on. I will be doing some questions this week, and I hopefully will have fun doing those, and I hope you'll have fun watching them, and I hope you'll keep tuned, because I got lots of cool stuff planned. Gonna mosey on out of here for the week. I know it's a fairly short show. I don't have anything in from Dawn and Mary this week. I will next week. Oh boy, I will next week. And I have kind of cut back on purchases, but I have some pre-ordered stuff that's coming in. I was hoping the Def Leppard would be here today, but it's not here yet. It came out yesterday officially, so I'll probably have it next week, and I can't wait to hear the whole thing. But I have a lot of interesting things, and I hope that you will continue to watch. All the shows should be back at normal this week. I'm not taking this week off like I did last week. So Influencers Tuesday, Vinyl Recall Wednesday, Rank This on Thursday, all at 4 p.m. The Kirkham Report on Saturday at 4 p.m. Radio Retro Countdown Sunday at 4 p.m. And of course, don't forget to join me this coming Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern with my pal Dawn from Two Hip Chicks for another live Finding Your Music Mojo. And also throughout the week, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. TC's Obscuria Vaults. I hope you will check them out. If you haven't subscribed already, I suggest you do. If you have, thank you. I appreciate it. You guys are the lifeblood of my channel. Please share what you see. I work very hard on it, and I hope that you'll help me get to have other people see it. And always leave a comment. I love talking to you, even though I'm a little bit lax. I'm finally getting caught up on some of them the last few weeks. For those of you in the areas that may need it, don't forget that there is some place to go if you are in need of weather news. That is PNR WeatherCentral. There's a link in the show notes. It has links to 2 or 3 channels that have live coverage of severe weather, lots of storm chasers, lots of forecasters, and official outlets from the National Weather Service, AccuWeather, and a bunch of other places. In any case, if you have weather needs, you can look through YouTube. If you're in a bind or somewhere where you can't watch regular TV, I can get you regular stuff by going to PNR WeatherCentral, so please check it out. Until next time, whenever that may be, and I've got a lot coming up, I'm TC Kirkham, the Kirkham Report. I will see you here next week for sure. Ciao, baby.